So hi everybody in Awaken Travel. I'm really excited to get to talk to you this evening. I am very excited to be able to be joined by Jonathan, my wonderful husband,
everybody,
and Leon and Suki. So we're really excited to have you join us today. And what it is that we're talking about this evening is focusing on your own personal well-being. Now, part of the reason why I created Awaken Travel was because the noisiness and the intensity of everything that was going on was really getting to me. It was just like this constant bombarding, and I needed to find somewhere to escape. And actually for me, that kind of escapism is looking at, wonderful, exciting places to go and to travel and connecting with like-minded people. And that's why we created the Awaken Travel Facebook group. And of course, along this journey, we have met some beautiful and wonderful people. And Jonathan was very fortunate to be able to come and join you guys and actually really get to connect and be with you on one of your beautiful retreats. But I would love for you to share who you are and what it is that your background and why, well, basically why Jonathan came back super chillaxed.
Yeah, super recharged. It was amazing.
Absolutely. So who would like to start?
Hi Will, hi guys. First of all, amazing work for everything you've done, creating a community, and all the hard work that goes on behind the scenes that nobody sees, that we understand fully how tiring it can be sometimes, but beautiful work, guys, and well done, and thank you for having us. My name's Leon Emmett, and Alchemy of Life is my healing brand, my healing space. And so my own personal healing journey goes back 30 plus years, and it's come to an energetic kind of last 8 years where I've been on many different journeys. And several years ago, I found breath work in the form of Wim Hof, who I was did some studying with, and then more recently discovered rebirthing, which is a style of breathing which has got a little bit more of a history to it. So I fell in love with that because it was it enabled me to take my body and my mind into places that I never thought would be possible, with or without the breath. And the level of healing and groundedness I can get from breathing, I fell in love with, and I had to learn more and more about it. And I'm still on that kind of thirst for more information and more technique, and sharing it with people that are being positively influenced by the breath. So yeah, we wanted to put something together as a retreat because we feeling the energy that's around over the last year. We've been suffering, many of us, and Suki and I wanted to create a space with unconditional love where we could gather in community and really start to take the focus inwards and start to look after ourselves first, so that we can then go forward and help others. If we put ourselves first, our belief is that everything else will fall into place as it should be if we put ourselves first. And now in this moment is the time to be doing that, we feel. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
That's amazing. And Suki?
Hello. Thanks, Leon. You look fantastic. You look really good, Jonathan. So I'm glad to see you've still got the buzz.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just second what Leon said. Actually, it's just phenomenal work you guys have done putting this group and community together. And yeah, I can imagine it's pretty overwhelming at times. So thank you for giving us a platform as well. Thanks for letting us speak on here. So my brand is called Breathe with Suki. I also run a Facebook group called Heal with Suki and Leon, and which is just general life wellness and health modalities and good practices. How did I come onto the breath? So I had a pretty rude awakening in 2015 in the form of a very aggressive breast cancer. And at that point of my life, I was living in Dubai. I was partying all the time. I was working hard, burning the candle. Pretty much had been all my life, and I wasn't really clued up on being present, anything spiritual. And I couldn't have been less woo-woo if you tried. I know that's the phrase. And yeah, so I left Dubai, you know, I was faced with my mortality. So I embarked on this healing journey to change everything about my present reality, to go on this healing journey. And that involved all sorts of things, some crazy, some not so crazy, lots of detoxing, nutrition, infrared saunas, drinking certain plant medicines in the jungle, taking frog medicines, you name it, I did it. And I took off a lot of layers over a few years, started to learn a lot about the mind and body connection, and how it became it just become incontestable to me that the diseases are based in, you know, nutritional and emotional root causes, basically. And usually the nutritional cause is, you know, if you've got a bad diet, it's down to emotional reasons that making you want to eat the wrong foods anyway. So it kind of mostly boils down to 85% of most diseases have an emotional or stress related cause. And so I was on this journey, taking off layers, getting a lot of healing work done, connecting all the dots. And then I discovered breathwork about 4 years ago, and it blew my mind on the very first session. And I was that skeptic. I went because everyone had been saying it was great. It was when I was living in Marbella. And I was still skeptical. I was just kind of like, well, it's probably like a fancy yoga, or, you know, something like that, or pranayama. It's probably be quite relaxing. I have a very busy mind. So like meditation, like, you know, I've already written a to-do list the whole time I'm meditating. Just doesn't work for me. Yeah. And then I did breath work, and I was just blown away. And it really felt like 10 years of therapy in one session. And I just couldn't believe the thousands I'd spent in, you know, in travel and retreats and therapists, in trying to get my life back on track after the cancer. And then I kind of felt like I got most of the answers in one session of breathwork. That's how profound it was for me. And, you know, most people do have a pretty profound breakthrough in their first 1 to 3 sessions. And it's enough to shake you to the core and question everything you think you know about health and wellness and listening to your intuition. So that's what got me into breathwork. And then I continued to go as a participant, and it just blew my mind. And I was like, right, I want to be a breathwork teacher. And at the same time, Leon and I had met training for another modality called Cambo, which is another subject for another day. And we become quite firm friends. And then we continued our studies on breathwork together. We studied in Germany under the IBF, and then more recently under Dan Brule, the Breath Mastery Practitioners Program. And Dan is the world leader in breathwork. We're fortunate to spend a month in Mexico learning from this genius. So that kind of a bit of a long answer, but that takes you really up to how we ended up formulating the retreats. The breath was just so powerful that Leon and I continued to work with our individual clients. We did some group stuff together, and he'd been on a huge healing journey and changed his life dramatically, and I had, and we'd thrown ourselves on the coals to do it quite a lot. And we're like, I'm sure we could just make this more gentler for people, more accessible for people. You don't have to do all the things that we did. So we kind of decided to create a retreat that we would want to go to.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
That we could say, of all the things we've done over the last 5 years, 8 years, whatever, what were the key elements that we could just take people straight to that without all that heartache that you get down the way and the empty purse. So so that's where we are, really. Our brands came together, and we're now collaborating, Alchemy of Life and Breathe with Suki. We collaborated to bring Reset Retreats, which is clear, create, connect. And it does what it says on the tin, I hope. I mean, Jonathan would be the person to vouch for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, clear what's holding them back, create a new story, get creative, and most important is connecting to other people. You know, people were really disconnected before last year happened.
Yes.
People were, you know, extended families don't really exist anymore. We're all working more technology. Life doesn't seem to be getting any easier. We're time poor. You know, it should take a village to raise a child, you know, and we're struggling to do everything on our own now. And that isolation was becoming an issue for people that they weren't even aware of before last year. And then, you know, 2020 and what's happened this year has compounded the level of anxiety, disconnection and stress people are feeling, therefore illness, immune system responses, etc. So yeah, that's exactly why we created Clear, Create, Connect retreats. Sorry.
No, that was perfect. That's the thing. It's kind of, you know, and I also truly believe that when you go somewhere, and this is what I really wanted to come, because you could easily just, you know, post this in the group, but until people meet you both, it's hard for them to understand, well, why would I want to go? And I want to get to know those people that I'm going to spend time with.
Yeah.
And that's really, really important. And I also wanted Jonathan to join as well, because, you know, like you said, he was there with you. Was it last week? Week before last?
Week before
last. And honestly, it was just amazing. Like, he came back, and actually probably the biggest thing was, you know, it was really odd for me, because I was still at home with the boys, this disconnect from, you know, from connection in terms of the internet, because of course we're all on social media all the time.
Yeah.
And I literally, I had said to him, just don't even worry, like, just literally get into that bubble and repair. Do not be calling me, do not be don't be worrying at all, because we all need that, like, disconnect where you can have that time away. And actually that was one thing that when I was taking quite a lot of the nastier comments more personally, and again, it's all growth, isn't it? And I'm like, right, okay, I have to just be stronger, that in any aspect of anything that you do, there's always going to be positive and negative comments. But it was, you know, quite a lot of people, beautiful people, who private messaged me and just said, take yourself away from social media for however long, like whether it's a day, whether it's whatever. And so I would love for Jonathan to just explain a little bit more about his experiences with you guys, because it just, even just feeling like when he came back, I could feel that lift that you had created. Like, I could genuinely feel that from him, and it was you know, it is beautiful. And he's still got that lift now, how long afterwards. And you remove yourself from negativity, and that's really like literally where there's a situation occurred at school.
We're on the school playground, and there was this dads having a conversation with each other, and one was talking about some things that were going on social media and things like that, and then they're having this disagreement. And normally I would be the one to sort of give my opinion, but I thought, you know what, keep things simple and just move away. It doesn't serve me, so I'm just going to move away. And so I moved away, and one of the guys phoned me after the school run and said, I noticed you moved away from the conversation. And I was like, actually, do you know what? After the week I've had and the recharge that I felt, that conversation doesn't serve me. So I'm going to move away. And so before I discovered your amazing breath work and retreat, I actually went to the osteopath, because I like to have a bit of a sort of body service every now and then. And this was 2 days before we came to your retreat. My osteopath said to me, he says, you're not breathing properly. He said, your diaphragm's really up high, and it's really tight. He said, you're in fight or flight mode, as if the Vikings are ready to come over the hill. And I said, really? He says, yeah, so let's do a bit of work, popping and doing his magic. And then I got to come to your retreat. And the amazing thing was the first thing that you guys said was, when you come here, this is about letting go of basically the world, if you like, what's going on, and you are going to have your phones away. You know, you didn't take them away from us. You basically said, just keep your phones in your room, and just have that moment away. And so for those period of days that we were there, was normally you're checking your pockets. Have I got my phone? Have I got a notification? Or what's the latest thing that's going on that I need to know about? Because for the last year, I have definitely been one of those people, haven't I? Where I've been immersing myself into, right, I need to know what's going on. I need to know things I maybe shouldn't know, and all these different things. And it feeds this animal to the point where you are literally in fight or flight. And there's, like you say, Suki, about people in the village bring up a child in that sort of community. It's that there is so much disconnect in people's opinions and views and things like that in this last year alone. And so the retreat enabled me to let go of my guard, which we don't normally do. We're very much brought up to be that, come on, you know, you can be yourself and you must be the strong person. And actually it's like, no, actually I actually realized by just doing this breath work and understanding and coming together as a group of people was to let down my guard. And by letting down the guard and breathing in and doing sessions with you and Leon, it actually, the emotions, the connections and learning, actually, I thought I understood what self-care was. And actually, you know, we're often very guilty of saying, oh, my self-care will be taking myself out for a couple of hours and doing my hobby. And that might be good for some people. But actually, the real value of self-care is actually stripping back those layers. And I can honestly say the profound experiences from learning how to do proper breathing and the technique that's involved, coming together and letting go of what is going on and not being afraid was, for me, was magical. And it's left me with a real profound experience of, I'm okay. And I can deal with my emotions. I can deal with what's going on. And it's hard to put into words what it is, what we experienced.
It's ineffable.
Yeah. So I can only thank you and Leon from the bottom of my heart for the experiences, but to have that connectivity with people again and to have that, just that light, and we all those that were there came back from that retreat, and you have a really profound gift at giving people the opportunity and the choice of how to find that light through your retreat. And I was, blown away. Still am blown away.
Oh, amazing. It's so beautiful to hear such wonderful feedback, you know, and this is why we do what we do. You know, we've traveled well, we've been to many retreats, we've been in these spaces, we've been on that side of it, the receiving side, and for a very long time, you know, and I often say to people, if I wish that I could have met somebody like me 8 years ago, because everything that I've learned, and Suki the same, we've had to relearn, uncondition ourselves all the way back, strip it all the way back, and relearn everything from scratch. And it's been a beautiful process. But now when you've walked on the path, and it's now a trodden path, it's now easier to walk for people. And now that's why we're collaborating to really form a beautiful way where we can hold people in a process which gives everything that's required for deep, meaningful healing. And it's a combination of everything that we know that works through our own journey and our own practice. So, you know, we were talking about the digital overload and overwhelm. You know, we're not adapted for this. The human species are not adapted for this level of bandwidth coming at us constantly, and I'm guilty of it also. You know, the retreat was although we've been on the different side of it, it was more of a team. We weren't on the teacher side or the participant side. It was us all together, and it was just as healing for us as it was for everybody else, you know. So it's such a beautiful way to share space and time, because ultimately this is how all of our needs should be met, through simplicity. There was nothing, when you look at what we do on the retreat, there was nothing fantastical going on there. It was just done in a way with unconditional love, done in a way with unconditional love that brings people together and allows the person, the individual, to go on their own individual journey and find their own essence, you know. And that's what's so beautiful about the work, is that we are just a channel, we're just a bridge to enable the person, the individual, to find it for themselves without external things. Everything's attached to externalization. The answer's out there, the answers, you know, we need to go searching for it. But we don't now, we know. That's the beauty of it. We don't, it's here all the time. It's been in front of us forever. And so it's such a beautiful way to go on a journey on a retreat. And absolutely made up that, you know, you guys got to both benefit from the time away, the digital detox, the emotional reset, because you needed it, right? And just to see Jonathan's face beaming still is magical. It really is.
I think it's going back to like on the retreat as well, is that it's feeling that love from other people. And that's what's missing at the moment. So like when, you know, we were speaking with yourself, Suki, about how we have two brains. We have the heart brain and then we have our head brain. And it's kind of like that at some point gets severed by what goes on. And it's kind of going, it's okay to let go. And that the energy and that comes from here was literally, I mean, some of the experiences we had was so profound. And like you said at the beginning, the woo word, it's kind of like you go, right, I just need to let go and I'm just going to go with it. And that was the energy that is kind of, you know, it's even now when I say to you, look, keep things simple, let's just be calm about it, let's just move on, we don't need that drama. And it's kind of like, oh, okay.
I love it. But you know, Jonathan, you know, that first day you arrived, you said you had real tense pains and you'd been to the osteopath and you had issues around, and I said it's your solar plexus, and within 5 days there was just a transformation there alone, right, in your personal power.
Totally.
And what you're able to leave, but because that discomfort was real, and it really is a physical ailment at that point, it's hard to have that connection to go, actually, is this all emotion that's causing that? No, this is a real physical pain. But it was, you know, it was purely the amount of stress you got under and that got stuck there that was causing you so much discomfort, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I think the beautiful thing was everyone left there sort of walking out of the retreats sort of 10 feet tall by the end of the week, you know, shoulders up. And you couldn't have got a group of different people, you know, no two people in that room were the same, different backgrounds, different belief systems, different programming, you know, different traumas, all sorts of different backgrounds, but everyone became a family. Everyone put everything that they had in their outside world aside and just literally became friends like we'd known each other for a lifetime. And that's where you create magic. That's where you get real healing. And like Leon said, it's not necessarily what we do, it's what we channel. We're on the same journey, we're just at a different stage of the path, right? That's all. And all we do is share all our learnings with love and authenticity. You know, we just want to really keep it real. I think one of the girls said that it was the least pretentious retreat she'd ever experienced, right? And that's where we want to come from. We don't want people turning up feeling like another layer of uncomfortableness, like, am I going to be forced to do this? Are we going to have to talk in a woo-woo way? We're going to have certain belief systems, follow certain things, you know, like, oh God, are you supposed to know about Buddha and why he's got a big belly? No, I mean, you literally come with whatever you've got on your plate, and then we all do the same practices, and, you know, and we generally all get the same results, which are profound. And I guess even people watching this now still, if they haven't experienced breathwork, will still think, what on earth are they going on about? Because it's just not quantifiable. Breathwork is something it really has to be experienced, right? It really does. Absolutely. To get an understanding of how powerful it is, you know. And if you like, I can list a few of the specific benefits that you get.
That would be awesome. And actually, and I know this is on the spot, but is there any way, if you can explain a little bit more about it, but also, so some people might think, well, how long are your retreats? Why are they that long? What makes that? Because, you know, I have been to events where it's like a 1 day or half a day. And, you know, there is definitely an element of a lot of people. So my background, you know, my upbringing, where we had zero money, my association with money has always been quite intense. And like the value of what's provided has to be really high for me to spend that money, right? So this is like, it's a block that I have had and I have had to deal with and manage, so that, like you say, like this personal care, well, actually, what's the value of, you know, whatever we're doing? Actually, personal care is the number one value, and you cannot function correctly if you're not going to give yourself that time to heal, or that time to thrive, and that all of those things. So why would somebody say, right, I'm going to invest in myself and I'm going to spend like 5 days on me? Why should they do that?
A lot of people are reluctant to invest in themselves anyway. They'll think nothing about spending money on fancy restaurants and food that you're going to poop out the next day. But people really, they can be quite reticent about spending it on themselves, because we come from a culture and a background where, you know, it's indulgent to even explore your emotions and your feelings anyway. We're supposed to have a stiff upper lip, act strong, you're rewarded and get extra points for being brave and repressing that stuff. And we actually want to do the opposite. So first off, if you've got any form of addictions in your life, if you've got any form of physical pain or ailments, autoimmune diseases, if you have depression, anxiety, panic attacks, claustrophobia, agoraphobia, if you procrastinate a lot, ADHD, pretty much anything. There are some contraindications for breathwork, but by and large, not many. But if you have any of these things that are holding you back and getting in the way of your life, then you need to do breath work. You know, it literally is the most accessible tool. Your breath is everything, yeah? Everyone can breathe. The breakthroughs that you can have when you do this type of breath work, rebirthing, conscious, connected, is just phenomenal. Physically, it oxygenates the brain, it alkalines the blood, it can heal physical pain in the body, release immense stress, you get deep relaxation. On an emotional level, you get profound sense of connection, gratitude, feelings of joy. You will raise your vibration through the roof, okay, and that alone will stop you getting ill. It boosts your immune system, and we haven't discussed much about this, you can get access states of consciousness. So you can go to other places that you didn't think it was possible to, using your breath, right? And this is truth. And then that leads you into the realms of, oof, you don't know what you don't know, right? They're just like, wow, that opens up and connects the mind body. So going back to your question, why would you come and invest in yourself in this treat, is because doing rebirthing every day, which we do in the afternoons, and another style of breath work in the morning, combined with movement, somatic work, therapeutic workshops and exercises every day to work through that emotional stuff in a group environment with shared energy, with good food and nature, is literally a recipe to change your life in 5 days. And it's
all
not
the ingredients.
It is, yeah, it's just, it will change your life, and it has done for us, and that's why we're teaching it, and that's why we're sharing it. So you can expect profound transformation for 5 days of breathing, and clearing any blockages that are holding you back in your life. You know, people come out and they've got a job promotion that they wanted, or they've taken up a hobby they've thought about for years but haven't put any action to. They have better interpersonal relationships. I mean, the list goes on. It sounds too good to be true. It's one of those things that it is ineffable, it is hard to describe, and you really got to, you know, don't take my word for it, come and try it.
I think ultimately it would be much more about people just getting into a relationship with their own breath first and foremost. Like everything else aside, we've been through a very interesting year, and it's taken its toll on so many beautiful souls. And if the individual can take out the time to really focus on some breath work, either simple or online work. Suki's got some online sessions, and I'll be joining her. So there's ways that people can do this stuff online, and it is profound. Like, it is profound, and it's very difficult to explain. You know, I look at our flyers for our retreats, and it's like, it's not enough. You can't express the depth of connection you can get through your breath. It's just it's so it seems weird, you know, to look at it, because it's not enough. And that's why it's all about experiencing. So if anybody is out there that's suffering with anxiety or depression or disconnect, or, you know, really suffering with their confidence or their immune system, breathe, find a way, let's connect and let's breathe together, because it will change your life. And from this, then there might be a beautiful fountain that opens up, and then you'll really understand your own journey towards self-healing. But that's the first step, is hear the call and take the step.
I I think also as well, it was when you're in that community and when you're with those people, like you said, Suki, and then that these people, we all had different jobs, different lives, different experiences, different traumas, whatever it might be, is actually your healing and dropping your guard and so forth is actually coming from them as well. So literally, as they're sharing their journey, their experiences, and you're seeing like the layers of those onion of each person peel back,
yeah,
actually having a profound healing experience on you, because you connect. And I can't share some of the stories, but one particular story has had such a profound effect with me that I was like, wow, okay, that resonated with something that happened in my life in my younger years that I had obviously suppressed so much and forgotten about, and just maybe subconsciously just locked it away because it was too raw. And to see that, and I was like, oh yeah, that I needed to hear that at that time. So it kind of like all connects together. And so yeah.
So this,
oh,
yeah,
sorry,
so
go for it.
there's so at some level we need to understand that we're also healing collectively, right? Because for us all to live in harmony, we all have to be singing, right? We all have to be on a level, okay? So in these sharing, these beautiful integration circles that we hold around this type of healing, and we all get to, like you say, hear each other's journeys, that is a collective healing. We are the planet is cleaner in that moment, you know. We're sifting through this stuff, so it's so healing. And that's always been a very important strength of mine that I learned when I was really young, and that was to always be sharing everything that was going on in my life, as crazy as it all was, like being brought up in a heroin addicts. My parents were heroin addicts for the longest time, and I saw some unimaginable things, I can tell you. And you know, it's just it's beautiful to be able to use these things that happen along our journeys and share them with other people and inspire other people to have the confidence to share it themselves and move through the layers of density and the blocks and all of this stuff that we carry through life that we're kind of completely unaware of. There's so much that's happened in our lives that we're dragging through our lives, and it affects our energy, it affects our language, it affects our mindset, it affects our relationships, and we're unaware of it. We don't understand why we are the way we are, but it's because we've been drudging this stuff through our lives. And when we take a moment to ourselves and we go on an emotional reset, we strip away the digital and a nice detox, and we provide ourselves with an unconditional loving space, beautiful food. This is really, really special. This is back to the womb again. We've been, you know, it's back to the safety of the womb and being nurtured from beginning and then letting back into the world again. And the 5 days is important. You know, we understand it's a bit longer than other retreats, but it takes that amount of time to break slowly. It's, you know, we've been in retreats before, and it's like hitting things with hammers. Quick, get it all out, and it's scary, you know. And when we go on a gentle process and a really beautiful journey together, like all of us together, and we can be held when we need to be held, and go for emotional or laughter or connection, this is the way it needs to be. It's like a beautiful slow birth, you know. There's analogies everywhere for this stuff, but it's important that we feel it's important for the 5 days to really get into it. Otherwise, by the time you've got into it, you're having to prepare to leave again.
Yes.
5's the number. 5 days.
Absolutely. I think that a lot of the people in this group on Awaken Travel, they are people who, you know, they are fighting a battle within themselves, within around their surroundings, and it is, of course, it's not over. You know, often we can endure however long and we can get through it, but actually it's kind of going on and on and on and on, and people are weary and they are tired. And this is something that I have regularly said, that you need to take yourself away so that you can be stronger, and so that you can be ready to support your family, so that you can be ready to have those conversations that might be tougher. But if you've recharged yourself, then you can have those much more powerfully, and you feel protected as well, because you're giving yourself techniques and methods to be able to strengthen yourself regularly. So Suki and Leon, so I wasn't sure exactly who was going to do it, but would you mind us doing an exercise today before we go that we can share with everybody, so they can also have a go at home to help themselves as well, just through, you know, what you're sharing today would be wonderful.
Okay.
Of course.
We were just saying that really, to be able to do the type of breath work that's our main tool for transformation, which is conscious connected breathing, rebirthing, we'd need at least 25 minutes to get into that process.
Yes.
So perhaps what we could do on another occasion is perhaps offer something to the viewers in Awaken Travel, that they could do a free online session. Their first session is free with us to try, and we could arrange that with you guys another time. But right now, a day-to-day tool that they could use is what Dan Brulé taught us, and that is just the anti-depression breath, which is really simple.
Amazing.
Do you want to demonstrate, Leon?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I think it's important to, if we're going to practice this breath, we have to do it with a clear mind, and we have to give ourselves permission for just a moment to not do anything or be anywhere or disappear from the mind, and just focus on the breath. Just give yourself a moment to focus on your breath. So close your eyes, breathe out slowly. And as we start to draw the air in through our lips, we're going to just enjoy it as we pull it into our stomach, and we're going to imagine it rising up through our chest as we breathe in. And then as we're breathing in, it comes to the top of the head, and as we breathe out, there's a fountain coming out of the top of the head and creating like a circular motion. So it's coming up from the belly, drawing it up into the chest. Imagine it going up through the head, and the fountain on the exhalation coming out the top of the head.
Like shape of like a V.
As you reach for an inhalation, start to open your mouth a little bit to allow the last bit of inhalation to swarm into the mouth, into the head, before exhaling and allowing it to flow out the top of the head.
All the effort is on the in-breath. When you release that breath, it's just like a fountain overflowing.
Within 2 or 3 breaths, you might start to feel sensations in the body. This is where we're starting to activate the system, oxygenate the blood, starting to get things moving. Really enjoying it on the inhalation, really as you're drinking it in, enjoying the moment of peace, enjoying the moment of solitude.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank
You
you.
just do that for 5 to 10 minutes a day, maybe twice a day, and that definitely give you more energy.
Lightheaded.
Yeah, doesn't it? It's amazing. Like, you just feel so, I actually just need to go and chill out.
Wait till you try over 25 minutes. That's another
25
level.
minutes of conscious connected rebirthing, and we'll take you on a journey for sure.
Yes.
Amazing.
Let's do that.
Thank you guys
very
so much.
Beautiful. So tell us, what are your takeaways from the retreat, Jonathan? Like, what are your top 3 takeaways? Because we're always learning, and we just always want to know what our family are feeling and thinking, and
Yeah,
so
I think
love to hear.
number 1 is being conscious of others and what they're going through. So I think, as maybe we're very, due to our own things sometimes, not everybody, but we're very quick to put a judgment on somebody or or I think someone's going to push our buttons. And it's actually having that thing of understanding that everybody has a vulnerability, and to be aware of other people's feelings and emotions. And the second thing would be is not to discount anybody. Don't discount whether it's, you know, people are going to have different views, different opinions, but at the same time is not to discount others. And I think the third thing is, the one thing I learned the most was to have an open mind, and to allow your mind to open, because we're very quick to, like I said, judge or discount, and we're very quick to shut it off. Oh, this thing's not for me. Because I thought, you know what, I'm going to come to this with an open mind. And it's one thing that I started to think that I understood, but actually coming to this totally blew my mind wide open from the experiences from breathwork. But to have that open mind has freed me in so many things. And having an open mind of also my inner feelings, because I'm guilty of procrastination and self-sabotage at times with confidence and things. And it's actually, do you know what? Open up your mind to see why that's happening, what's doing that, who's caused it, and not so much to confront it, but to own it and say, right, here's this, you can sort this out, and let's do this. And so I'd say it's given me the confidence with those things together to really sort of feel that enlightenment of self-care, of I'm okay, and I now know I have some little tools in my toolbox of how to start to repair myself. And then definitely I will be coming. So you better be ready for another retreat. Yeah. But this lady is she's gonna go before me, because it's
we can't wait.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much. It's beautiful souls, beautiful people, beautiful community. Love it.
Oh, fantastic. We loved having you as part of the family. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening to us today as well.
Yeah,
providing a platform. And just to let people know, you know, if they can't make the retreat, then we do the online, or we do one-to-ones. But also, if none of that's accessible and you live far away, then still reach out and we'll help you find a practitioner near based where you are. We're going to be getting a little bit more active online, although we much prefer doing things in a one-to-one space. We will be doing short videos on different breath techniques that people can do alone at home. So yeah, thank you so much.
It's been wonderful. It's been so lovely getting to spend time with you as well. And yeah, and I am really looking forward to getting to meet you personally myself.
Amazing.
Us too.
And thank you. And I think, you know, from being the kind of the spouse on the other side of the person coming home from this, I think that what you created, you know how you said like the top 3 things, from seeing it on the other side, I would say there was a lot of healing going on that occurred for Jonathan, love and nurturing. Now, we've, like you said, this year has been weird, and I think that a lot of people have disconnected from a lot of things, but you know, Jonathan came back and I could feel that he'd felt so cared and nurtured whilst he was with you guys. So that is a massive thing. And I think that, you know, we all need big hugs, and that's what that did. You know, 5 days of being nurtured, loved and held in a safe space. That's what this is about. And I think you guys have created that perfectly. So thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
It was, we were honoured to be able to open up our arms and our hearts and our minds to people that are feeling the call to be nurtured. You know, we're not, it's not celebrated to be vulnerable in our culture, unfortunately, and we have a lot to answer for on that. So we're trying to undo these patterns of behaviour, these damaging thought patterns, and it's so wonderful. There is nothing better for me to be doing with my time, and I'm sure Suki agrees, then holding people in beautiful, safe, sacred space. It's just everything. And to hear you benefiting, and obviously we spent time with Jonathan, and it was beautiful to laugh and joke and go for a journey. And
and did we laugh?
It was just magical. You know, what can you say?
Amazing, absolutely. And on that note, I think we should end there, because laughter is like so good, isn't it?
Right. We love you.
Keep on doing your magic, guys. Sending you so much love.
Bye.